All right, here we are, Celtics live post-game, a loss. Now, you're gonna watch me, I guess, feel out how I come out on this game because in reality, they made a game of it. It looked close, but all in all, there's so many annoying things that went on during that game. And I'm not surprised the Celtics lost. When I spell it out like this, really, I'm not surprised they took the L tonight. You didn't have Jaylen Brown, all right? Marcus Smart had one of the worst, honestly, one of the most frustrating games I've seen him play, and that's saying so much. Saying Marcus Smart, this is a frustrating game from him, that's saying a lot. And then you had Evan Fournier, who's, supposed to be this team's savior in a sense, come out, and we'll go over it when we look at the box score, drop an absolute goose egg in his Celtics debut. So, yeah, the vibe's a little weird because it's like, okay, all those things don't happen. We might be looking at a different result, but here, guess what, Sherlock? It happened, and you're looking at a loss. You're looking at a game that you probably could have won and capitalized on this, this sort of momentum you were building after those past two losses. But we'll get into all of that on the post-game stream tonight. Thank you guys for viewing, and if you are not subscribe to the channel yet, I'm going to ask you guys to please hit that subscribe button. You can like this stream. If you like this stream, it may help the Celtics win their next game, just saying. But yeah, hit that subscribe button and like the stream. It was a tough one. And we'll feel it out. We'll read all chat tonight, and yeah, might as well get to it. But before we get into the box score or the chat, I got to tell you guys a little bit about Manscaped. Manscaped has been kind enough to sponsor the stream for the last month. So head over to manscaped.com, use that promo code Celtics Live. It'll save 20% off, and you'll get free shipping on your order as well. So head over to manscaped.com, use promo code Celtics Live. All right, so let's head into the box score here. We'll start with the good. Jason Tatum, 34 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. He shot 50% from the field and 55% from three. The only gripe I have with Tatum, and I don't know if this is a Tatum problem or a team problem, but Jason Tatum, it's like when he's going off, all of a sudden the ball's just not going to him, or Brad takes him out, or he just disappears for a little bit. So I don't know if that's a Tatum issue, a coach issue, a team issue, but I didn't really like it. He did kind of disappear at times. He made some big shots when he needed him to. Same thing with Kemba Walker. Kemba, 44% from the field. He didn't really hit his threes tonight, but he dropped 23 points in. We can look at the negative now because there's not much positive outside of those guys. Maybe you want to say Luke Cornett or Peyton Pritchard came to play. They did, but we need a little bit more from, one, being Marcus Smart. If Jaylen Brown's out, Fournier is new to the team, you need more from Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart had 15 points, 5 fouls. He got tossed at the end of the game, 3 turnovers. A ridiculous turnover with the shot clock violation mix-up there. Bad game from Marcus Smart. Really, really frustrating as someone that, loves Marcus Smart. All those people that hate him or say trade him, have a little bit of credence tonight, which sucks. But then we look at Evan Fournier. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor here. It's his first day with the team, or he met them yesterday. I'm willing to give him a break, but 0 points? I feel like if you're a 20-point-per-game scorer in this league, it's tough. It's tough to drop 0. I'm going to chalk it up to just like nerves, first game with the team. So I'm not blaming this loss on Fournier. You know what I mean? Like, yes, that's a big deal. Like, he's supposed to come in and be an instant charge to this team. But I think that's a pretty easy cop-out if we're just like, let's blame the new guy. So this one really is on Marcus Smart. To me, I feel like there's just so many different times during that game where he just kind of gacked it up. But let's get into the chat. The chat's buzzing already. Let's hit it. Donovan saying not the best debut for Fournier. Zach saying honestly not that mad if Evan hit it's going to be weird having me read the name Evan here. If you didn't know, that's my name. Hit a couple of those threes and we would have potentially won. Josh said, what did I just watch from Marcus Smart? Hayden saying, y'all, that was rough. Stone saying Marcus Smart hurts this team more than he helps us here. I don't know. What I'll say this, and you guys this is not a good example of this, but what Marcus Smart has done this year is hurt the team in the last 2 minutes more than he helps. And that's not like Marcus Smart. Right? So to me, it's not a matter of over the course of the game, Marcus Smart's consistently hurting them. I honestly think he does do more positives than, he provides negatives. But when it matters most, which is when he's supposed to be the game changer and stuff, when it matters most, that's when Marcus Smart seemingly has flipped the coin on its, ass and been like, yeah, I'm actually going to hurt the team in crunch time. And a couple of these jack threes, I'm not going to call them in crunch time, but there's been plenty of must-make possessions this season in this game, some momentum possessions, where he just pisses it away with a bad 3. So Stone, I agree partially, just with the last, crunch time, 5 minutes of the game or so. Ben says we lost this game when we won that tip. Marcus Smart shot it at half. I believe that with my whole heart. That was sort of a wow, a team that's locked in, ready to win this game, ain't throwing the ball across the court with, a full... It was weird, and you can't even be like, why didn't Marcus Smart get that? There's a whole tie-up on the other end of the floor, and there was a breakage in play where they're figuring out who's going to jump. Plenty of time for him to be like, oh, yeah, actually, this is where we are right now. So, absolute brain fart. We'll give him a womp womp. Michael saying Danny should have traded Marcus Smart. I don't know. I'm still not in the trade Marcus Smart, but I do think his value has not shined through as much as it has in years past. I said that earlier. At the end of the games, it's like tough. Hayden saying everything changed with that Smart turnover. Duncan saying your title is Celtics Thunder. Let me fix that if that is the case. It should have updated prior to going live, but maybe this is just an L all around, huh? I'm dropping the ball. Marcus Smart's dropping the ball. Everyone, let me fix the title right now if that's the case. Bear with me. It is. Date's wrong, too. There we are. All right, guys, let me know if the title looks good. You might need a refresh. I don't know how it works. Now I'm thrown off. This is just what you guys needed. Tuning in. The Celtics dropped the ball. You come on here to watch a good post-game show. A great post-game show. And this is what we got. All right, I'm updating the title now. Let me know if you guys see it. Maybe we should just redo the post-game against the Thunder because we got the win. All right. We good? I always complain about being behind in the chat. This ain't helping it. The chat goes wild when the Celtics lose, and this ain't helping it. All right, I think we're good. Where was I in the chat? Abdul saying refs and Smart fucked that game. Gabe says feels bad, but the fact that we got 0 points out of Fournier and Brown is what gives me a little optimism. Yeah, like Fournier is only going to go up, right? We can't expect that Evan Fournier is going to drop 0 points every single game. I don't know. Len says, what the hell? Smart, go away. Guys, as bad as Smart was, I don't know if it's like it's a let's tear down everything he's ever... We got to realize there's years of work that Smart's put into this team, right? I'm here for the Smart slander tonight. Don't think that this is a cop-out. But the trademark, they had their opportunity to trade him. I didn't see anyone complaining, against the Thunder or against just the past 2 games, I should say, outside of that deadline. No one was like, why didn't we trade Smart? Because he was bad tonight, that's why we're going to say it? I don't know. I hear you, but it's one bad game. Game says, yeah, when Marcus Smart did that, it gave the Pelicans a mental edge. I'm going to skip ahead in a little bit because we botched it early on in the stream. Here we go. And Love saying Smart and Fournier long-range shooting cost the team. Turning point was Smart and that brain fart. Everyone agrees. Should we give another womp womp? I mean, that was like I said, if I were to break that down again, not to harp on that one play, but that is a guy that is just not locked in. Because that wasn't like a heat of the moment. You didn't really understand. Like when a guy scores on his own bucket, you could make the argument things are flying all around and he just got confused. This was a dead ball, a stoppage in time. It was so clear why the 2 guys in the first tip didn't jump at all. That should have been like okay, that's why I'm not going to do this, right? That's why I'm not gonna shoot this ball right now, because the whole thing, it took 2 tips for the ball to even get tipped, and then it goes to Marcus Smart and he hucks it. That's a guy that wasn't locked in tonight, and that was clear. Phil saying this is a bad loss. It's a bad loss if you put this game in a vacuum, okay? In terms of moving forward from it, I think that this is definitely one of the more move-forwardable, if we can use that verbiage, move-forwardable wins that we've seen this year. Because what I saw is a game that you're not going to get that bad of a game from Marcus Smart. Mentally, maybe you'll get a game shooting from him. He was 0 of 6, but you're not going to get a mentally bad Marcus Smart game like that again, hopefully. You hopefully have Jaylen Brown long-term for the end of the year and whatnot, right? And then hopefully Evan Fournier isn't a 0 point per game scorer in green. So bad loss in a vacuum, I'll give that credit, right? But am I wrong? Am I crazy to think that for some reason I leave this game being like, okay, that was one we let get away? You know what I mean? That was the one that got away type of game. That wasn't, oh my God, the season's on fire type of game. That's sort of my differentiation. I always say it. We start the stream, we're like 10 minutes in now. I think that's where my take's going on this game. Adnan saying, I think Evan will come along. Brown and TT out. I think we're turning the right direction. Yeah, I think they can move forward from this. F saying that the reffing in this game, that was weird reffing, but you guys know, I say it all the time on the stream. I always will jump to what the Celtics could have done to not even make the refs. You know, the Celtics are a better team than this. The Pelicans are playing well, but I think the Celtics could have won this game, even without Jaylen Brown, even with 0 from Evan Fournier. You know, I think that there's a lot going on here that they just kind of dropped the ball. So I will say, you know, before I get to the refs, I'll say that the Celtics were the ones that lost this game, not the refs. But the refs didn't help. You can say that. Donovan saying, Walker, Smart, Fournier, Grant Williams combined 3 of 23 from the three-point line. Gear saying, a lot of those Tatum drives looking for Fournier in the corner who wasn't there. Yeah, I mean, again, Fournier, you don't expect him to be like in the offense yet, right? Now, he missed shots that he could have made, so I'm not cutting him that much slack, but it's too much of a cop-out for me to blame. You can say this is the reason why. I'm not arguing that, but I'm not ready to just, you know, cast Fournier away and say, oh my God, what a bad trade. This is a dud. Like, we don't need him, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, it's one bad game from him. Hopefully we don't have another 0 game from him where he led the team in minus, in the plus-minus. He was minus 12. I hope we don't see that, but I'm willing to give him a little bit of a break because he's got such a great first name. But before we get into any more chat, I'm going to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel. We've been growing. I think we hit 30 more subscribers. We gained 30 more subscribers since last stream. Last stream was only 2 days ago. So you guys are unbelievable. You guys are awesome. Please keep killing the like button on these streams as well. What did we hit last stream? 50 live likes? I don't know where we're at right now, but 50 live likes was awesome. You guys are killing the channel so far. So please hit that subscribe button and keep tuning into the channel. I tried, unless we have unless we have hamster wheel brain difficulties like I had with the title, we're really keeping up on chat, but we had to skip ahead a little bit tonight. Knight saying Walker, Fournier, Brown, Williams should be the starting lineup because it will create more space for everyone, and I think that's the best, and I think it's a good night to say that. Marcus Smart stunk, put him with the bench, let him be the Energizer Bunny. Evan Fournier is a starting player in my mind. Gear says, everybody be sure to like the stream. J-Max says Smart thinks he's elite. He does. F saying Fournier just had nerves. That's what I think too. Knight saying the refs kind of sold. Abdul saying they should traded him for Vucevic. Adnan saying Chris is asking if the Celtics can win a playoff series. Miss you. I miss you guys too. I think the Celtics can win one playoff series, depending on who they get. Right now, unless this team starts to build and turn it around, they are looking like a team that wins the first round and probably gets kicked in the second. I'm hoping they do better than that, but we got to see Fournier score more than 0 points if we're gonna ride with that. Gabe saying, love Marcus, but I feel like he's frustrating every few games. I think he's frustrating a lot more than not this year. He's been very, very frustrating. Wangi says, there's so many things off about this team this season. Ubi says, I'd rather have the ball in Grant's hands than Smart. I mean, at least you know Grant's not always going to jack it. If I'm going to say one positive thing about my boy, Grant Williams doesn't get the ball and just jack it. Marcus Smart, it seems like in the crunch time, Marcus Smart's go-to is give me the ball, let me pump fake. If the guy jumps, I'm going to dribble to the side and then shoot like a three that's kind of fading but not fading. I don't know, man. I just don't like it. Tom is saying that sucked. Maul's saying this is why Marcus needs to come off the bench, his shot selection and better facilitating. If Marcus Smart comes off the bench, you got to think of it like this. Marcus Smart comes off the bench, he's taking shots away from Pritchard. He's taking shots away from, Neesmith, that type of thing. Like, I'm okay with Marcus Smart doing a little bit more of, the ball running through him if he's coming off the bench. He starts. That means from the opening tick, Marcus Smart is in this case, I guess, is taking shots away from Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown when he plays. He's going to be taking shots away from Kemba. So it's like, if Marcus Smart starts and has games like this or games like we've seen this year, he can actually, great. He's going to get the steals. He's going to draw the charges. Amazing defensive player. At the end of the day, he could be taking shots away from the guys that you want taking and making the shots. So it gets a little frustrating watching that. I think everyone would agree with me. And if you don't, I don't know. This isn't the game. This isn't the game to voice your Marcus Smart had it going night. Kellen's saying we just need to get healthy. I like the way this team is trying to give Fournier a break. Basically with the team. I mean, I'm giving Fournier a break. I'm giving him a break. I hope that's not a me, Kellen. I'm willing to give Fournier a break. Now, like I said, it's tough to get 0 points, I feel like, when you're a 20-point per game scorer. So we can't give him the biggest break. But in terms of moving forward, I'm still willing to, like I just said, I'd start Fournier. The guy just scored a goose egg and looked so out of his eye. He just didn't look ready to play with this team. Obviously, he's an NBA player. He's not like a rookie. He just didn't look ready to be with this team, kind of thrown into the fire. But I'm not going to lie, kudos to Brad. If I'm going to say one good thing is just to keep letting him play. Get this monkey off his back. If Fournier came in and when he was like 0 of 6, right, and had played like 16 minutes, if Brad said, nah, pal, you're not getting the chance, you're going to go on the bench, then I would actually be a little bit more pissed, I think. But the fact that he said, okay, you know what? Play your 30-plus minutes like, you know, you're going to play close to every single night. You'll figure it out. I do give Brad a little bit of credit for that. Because I know we say Brad doesn't have the balls. It kind of took balls to keep playing Fournier tonight, as bad as he was. Gear says, while we wait for the title to change, be sure to like, sub, and hit the bell. I am going to skip ahead in the comments, guys, because I realize how far I am behind here. Lance says, whenever we think they turn the corner, they have a game like this. And that's where my frustration is. When we put this game in the vacuum and forget about the outside circumstances, this is a winnable game. It was. It's a winnable game. You had the lead multiple times. Zion kind of tore you up. But he's going to do that. It's a matter of not letting, like, what did Eric Bledsoe go for? It's a matter of not letting Eric Bledsoe, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Josh Hart combine for, I don't even know what that is, 45 points. You know, and they shot 50% and 60% from three. The Pelicans shot over 50, and they're not even a good three-point shooting team. You know, it's Zion's going to get his. Ingram's probably going to get his, but that's where you combat with Tatum and Kemba. You can't let those tertiary or secondary players outscore your guys, and they did. Hayden saying maybe it's JB lacking. Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge that Jaylen Brown was out. The only thing I'm saying, guys, is that was still winnable. You know what I mean? Like, it was winnable. In fact, they were down 1,000,000 points with like 5 minutes left, and then they went and got it to 3 points. You know what I mean? So that was a winnable game. That's the only reason I'm sort of like, you know, screw that. They could have won it. In terms of moving forward, I said it. I don't think it's a word, but I'm going to keep using it. This is a very move-forwardable game. Hopefully you're not going to get a mental midget Marcus Smart game like that, right? Hopefully you're not going to get an Evan Fournier 0 points moving forward. And hopefully you're going to have Jaylen Brown back. So there are some things we can grab here. Wong says, don't know if Brad should have played Fournier that much. Hope it doesn't. I just said the opposite too. I think it helps his confidence. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm right, you're wrong, Wongy, because I do think a guy keeps missing, he could get off to the wrong, you know, beat or whatever, right? But the fact that Brad kind of said, hey, no, stay in there, you know, keep playing even though you are stinking, I do think this is going to send a good message to Fournier overall. I think he's going to finally have like he's going to be able to have sort of a, oh, you know what, like, no, it's okay. I can miss shots and I can be good here. You know what I mean? Whereas, think about it for a guy like Nesmith, right? And obviously they're two way different caliber players. Nesmith misses a shot and gets taken out. What is that message? Get out, you missed a shot. You can never miss a shot. Fournier just missed, I don't know, let me look at the box score again, 1,648,210 shots tonight, and Brad let him play. So I like that move. Brad says, frustrated, win or lose, always look forward to your postgame. Evan, MVP of the night. I'll take that, except Brad, you might want to clarify, because Evan Fournier, same first name, 0 points tonight. But I am the MVP of Evans tonight. We can confirm that. Steven says, guys have to be better. Tatum could have had 10 assists tonight. Everyone has to be better playmaker. When in reality, these guys just had enough shots. Yeah, guys are missing shots. That's fair. Gear says, not trying to blame Tatum, but do you think he needs to take charge and demand the ball from Smart at the end of the games? 100%. I said it earlier, right? I was like, Tatum, the one thing I can knock Tatum. That's not the greatest, that I can knock Tatum a little bit. I can knock Tatum a little bit tonight because he had 34 points. I think Tatum could have had a 40 ball easy. There was a time where I was like, whoa, Jason Tatum's in the game. Like, I literally was watching the game 3 inches from my screen and was surprised that Jason Tatum was in the game just by the flow of the offense. I was like, wait a second, he hasn't touched the ball in like 5 possessions. So yeah, I think that's a little fair. I just think, you know, it to me, and this isn't a good example of this. Looked like a selfish Marcus Smart game, but we saw it. When was that? A couple nights ago, right? We saw Marcus Smart. It seemed like everyone was trying to get Marcus Smart to shoot. So it's almost to me like that's the team chemistry. Like, they want this guy shooting, which that's where you lose me. You know what I mean? This is a different one. Marcus Smart was jacking. We've seen him jack before, but there's been games this year too where like Tatum's deferring to Smart, and that doesn't make sense. Terry says, just so you know, it's normally 75% of Boston fans wanting player traded just because someone's struggling, even though he, is it normal? Just so I know, I botched this comment up. Just so I know, is it normal for 75% of Boston fans wanting a player traded just because someone's struggling, even though they've had sustained success prior? I think so. I mean, even if we're all green teamer bias Celtics fans, I think we can all agree we jump the gun and screw that guy, get him off the team. But I'll say this, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, we're the absolute first one there to like a guy like Cornette to say no one else is giving you a chance in this league. We love you now. You know what I mean? So it works both ways. But yes, Terry, I know you're not a Boston fan, so yeah, that's kind of how it works. Guys, I'm going to ask you guys again to hit that subscribe button. I'm loving how we're growing this stream. You know, the more and more chat we get, it's harder and harder, but my reading level is increasing as you guys chat more. So, you know, it's not only you get to vent or celebrate a Celtics loss or win, but my reading level increases. It's kind of a win-win for all of us. So keep spamming the chat, keep hitting that subscribe button, liking the stream, and we're here live after every single Celtics game, no matter what happens in that game. But make sure to hit that like button. There are more people in the chat or in the stream right now than have liked it. So I guess I have a lot of haters, because if you have not liked it, yet you're watching right now, it's just a big old, you know, F you to me. Or you're a Nets fan and you know you're rooting for the bandwagon signings and whatnot. Princess Fournier had his first nerves game. We better go on a 5-game winning streak. Yeah, maybe I'm pumping air in his tires here, but I think Fournier is about to go off, you know, for the next couple of games. Not go off, but all of a sudden it's like, because there was people that didn't like this trade to begin with. We talked about it on stream and we talked about it on Twitter, right? People didn't like this trade for whatever reason. You know, the money, the TPE. I'm not going to get into all that right now. Now, I assume there's even more of the Fournier sucks bandwagon, or not bandwagon, you know, missing wheel wagon, I guess we can call it, the idiot wagon, the short bus of fans. The people that don't like Fournier, now there's more and more of them, and now there's almost some credence to the people that didn't like the trade. So I'm hoping he just shuts them up. I'm not saying go off for 30 points, you know, 3 games in a row, but just sort of shut up ability, I think he's going to come with a little bit of that. He has to. There's only up to go. I will say, though, when I say you can only go up from here, we thought that about the Celtics a couple months ago, and they hit a new rock bottom like every game, so we'll see. Ubi says, do you see that video of Romeo working out? He actually looked good. He did look good. Brandon says, I'm tired of sucking, and they try making it a good loss. Yeah, I mean, the Celtics came back in this game, but they lost that game, right? Like, that was going to be another, you know, Bucks game, or was it the Bucks? Or no, a couple games, or yeah, I think it was the Bucks. I don't remember which Bucks game. It was recent. I'm losing my mind here. Where they lost by 2, but they were getting spanked, right? It was the one before the deadline. So they go and, you know, lose by 2. You look at the box score. Oh, wow, yeah, it was a good loss. You lost to one of the better teams. You hung in there. No, you got your ass kicked. There's a chunk of this game where the Celtics were getting their ass kicked. Anthony says, Smart's jacking of shots has more to do with Brad than Smart himself. I think Brad knows our bench is so thin he needs Smart to take shots. Can't pull all the blame on Marcus. That's fair. I'll give you that, Anthony. I will give you that. I do think, obviously, it comes down to the guy making or missing shots, though, right? And if Brad needs Smart to take these shots, Smart's got to make them. We've seen Smart make them before. The guy has the in-game record for the Celtics 3-point made, right? So it's like Smart can make them. It just comes down to him, you know, the shot selection. And obviously, he needs to take shots. Are going to be, the way this roster is put together, shots are going to be allocated towards Marcus Smart, okay? Like, that's a fact. It's a matter of the shots that he is taking. Are those the best shots? Anthony saying this team is ass. Steven says, I mean, understanding giving Fournier a break, but he still should be able to score something. And based on what Cornette and even Wagner did doing less time, it gets hard to excuse it. Yeah, that's fair, Steven. I'll give you that. But I'll say the same thing. If Wagner, if Cornette were absolute, you know, ass in their first games too, I wouldn't just write them off right away either. Especially with Fournier has not even just like, this isn't just like a vet the Celtics picked up who has gone off. This is one of the better years Fournier has had scoring the ball. So I'm just thinking this isn't him. You know what I mean? Like, not going to excuse it, but I can't get mad about it. Like, this isn't the player. Like, I'm not mad that we traded for this guy. You know what I'm saying? Malu's saying, saw Romeo working out. Is he out of the protocol? Yeah, I literally have no clue. I don't even know if he exists. I mean, we saw him. There was a Romeo sighting, but we've seen like videos of aliens and Bigfoot before. Do we know that was really Romeo? I don't know. Gears says, ID's Cave, you saw a semi-stream last night, but he was watching the Tice tribute videos. He was very close to Tice, just like Tatum was with Javonte. Yeah, the chemistry, something's going to happen with the chemistry. We look like there's a little excitement from Cornette and Wagner, right? But a team just lost Tice, Javonte Green, Jeff Green. Like, there's going to be some sort of, we got to get to know each other and got to kind of get some chemistry going and vibe out a little bit, which it's only been a few days. Kellen saying Marcus needs to realize he's not a scorer. Only shoot when he is open and running pick and rolls with Rob and other bigs. Smart needs to understand his role for the team to be successful. I agree. Gear says, do you think it's more of a Smart being selfish or Tatum being too scared? I think it's a Smart being the alpha. That's what I think. If Tatum in this, let's play the game, right? Tatum is deferring to Smart, right? That's Tatum being so much younger than Smart. Smart being the longest tenured Celtic. Smart being sort of the captain, the alpha. That's what it comes down to. But that's only if we're playing that game where Tatum really is deferring to Smart. I think that the offense, somehow the ball ends up in Marcus Smart's hands a lot. And a lot of the threes that Marcus Smart misses, they're good shots. The problem is just as many are bad ones. So, it's like we like to focus on that other side of it, but the ball moves around sometimes when the ball moves around, I guess I should say, and it ends up in a Marcus Smart 3. And I think if it was another guy taking that shot, we'd like where the ball ended up for the shot, but Marcus Smart just got to make them. And I don't know if he really even has it in him. He's not a shooter. So that's could be when we talked about it earlier, the Brad issue is like, look, then don't put Marcus Smart in these positions. Wanting to say, I think JT could be suffering from COVID after effects. I mean, he could be. I don't want to say he's not because I feel like that's like a slippery slope, right? Like, what do I know if he is or isn't? But 34 from him tonight. He played 40+ minutes, 34 and 9. I think he's all right. It just, I think maybe we're waiting one more year until Jason Tatum, in his mind, I think Jason Tatum thinks that this is his offense and his buckets to score, right? But I don't know if he gets the whole sort of this, what I say goes on this team. I don't know if that's the case yet. Steven says, please don't believe the hype. Romeo looked out of shape and winded, coming off COVID and injury press. Don't get your hopes up. My hopes are, if you guys have been tuning into the stream, my hopes are not up for Romeo. Will I give him a shot? Yep, sure. But my hopes are not up. I do not think Romeo is the savior. I don't think he's going to come in here and be, like the guy that the Celtics have been waiting on. If he is, then great. But seriously. Gear says, I really hope the guys take extra time to make Fournier feel welcomed, especially after this game. This is what I hope. This is what I hope coming out of this game. That Marcus Smart sits everyone down, including Fournier, and says, hey, guys, this one's on me. That was a terrible game I played. This one's on me. Talking to Fournier, dude, this one's on me. Letting everyone know, including Fournier, that what y'all did, that's all right. Wasn't our best game, but he has to lead by example. The guy threw a hissy fit and got tossed with 20 seconds left. And it was a 5-point game at that time, if I'm not mistaken. The game was over, but it wasn't over. Smart gave up, got tossed. The ref, I guarantee you, the ref told him to shut up multiple times. And he just wasn't having it. And those charges that he usually draws that are blocking fouls tonight, Smart wasn't there mentally, and we saw that capped off with that ridiculous half-court shot. End love saying, Smart, refs, Fournier, all tied for the worst in the game. Ubi says, I think Smart has a little bit of Rozier syndrome, like when Rozier thought he was better than Kyrie. Maybe. I think Marcus Smart, I don't know if he thinks he's better than Tatum. I think Marcus Smart's willing because he always wants to do the flashy passes. So I don't think when Marcus Smart shoots, I don't think he realizes that he's taken away from, Kemba, Tatum, Brown, and now going to be Fournier. I don't think he realizes that. I think just in that moment, he thinks he's going to make that shot, and then he bricks it. You know what I'm saying? And there is a difference. There is a difference between him being like, looking that guy off and taking the shot. There's a difference between him looking a guy off and taking the shot versus he just thinks this is a good shot for him when it's probably not a good shot for him. But I hope that's not the case because Marcus Smart should be the ultimate team guy on this team, and that's what I'm hoping for. You definitely wouldn't see Rozier, love the guy, but you wouldn't see Rozier, when you're talking about in that time period, sit everyone down and be like, I stunk. No, he's a me guy. I still love him. I could say that. But I'm hoping Marcus Smart isn't that type of guy. I hope you're wrong, Ubi, but I could see you being right, unfortunately, for the team. Anthony says, I trust Pritchard from 3 more than anyone not named Tatum, Brown, or Kemba. I absolutely love that kid. Yeah, he makes big shots. He does. Wangi says, did Fournier have COVID or what? Pretty sure they said he tested positive. It was a false positive. So that's why he's able to play. He tested positive 2 days ago, was it? And then tested negative. It was a false positive that he originally got. Steven says maybe he was in close contact, but they reported it, but he'd be out longer. Yeah, guys, it was okay, we see it in the chat too. Terry's got it. Ubi says, if Romeo comes in and averages more than 3 points a game, I'll be happy. Fab saying, it's not that Celtics want Smart to shoot. It's that the defense is leaving Smart open to jack up the shot. Tough because Smart plays D. It would be great if Smart didn't finish the games and jack up shots. It's what it comes down to. And that is a good way to put. When I said earlier, I was like, somehow the offense just results in Marcus Smart with an open shot. It's probably because teams aren't respecting and almost egging on that shot. So, yeah, I mean, I could totally see that, but I just really hope, and I said it before, and I'll say it again, I really, really hope that Smart lets everyone know, and I'm only saying I hope this because I think it's possible. I think that it's more likely than not Smart's going to say, hey, guys, this is on me. And that's the difference between the Rozier the Rozier situation and him. Marcus Smart, I trust to know this game's on him. Maybe he doesn't recognize the 0 of 6 from 3, okay? Maybe he doesn't recognize that, but the mental mistakes, the stupid fouls, I hope he recognizes that. Getting ejected at the end of the game, I hope he recognizes that, and I hope he can at least own and take accountability. Even if he doesn't go in the locker room and say, hey, guys, 100% this is on me, as long as he goes in there knowing and not afraid to express that, hey, guys, I got to be better, then that's it. Because, it seems like a wasted game when Tatum goes for 34 and Kemba hits a lot of shots and goes for 23. Kemba hits some big shots. It seems like that was a waste to go and get the loss. Steven says this is about the Smart and Rozier situation. I say that like they got in a fight or something. The Smart versus Rozier situation. Completely different because Rozier is a natural scorer and is way more skilled offensively than Smart. Good point. I love Smart, but stuff he pulls is just out of his element. That's not a bad point because Terry Rozier almost, and he wasn't at that time or still, almost had more of like a reason or justification to be like, I am better than Kyrie, right? Or I should be taking the shot. It's because Terry Rozier, regardless of who he thought he was better was, Terry could make the shot. And I just don't trust Marcus Smart to make the shot. Marcus Smart getting into the paint, I don't mind that little pull-up or spin around. I really don't. I think he's crafty around the rim. I don't mind that. It honestly is the jacked threes. I think Marcus Smart, I trust him in the paint. He makes good passes. Sometimes he'll take a crazy layup, but he makes those just as much as he misses them. It's the jack threes early in the shot clock when the game matters too, late in the game. All that junk, that's what I could definitely do without. Anthony's saying, did you see Bo Burnham is playing Larry Bird in a new HBO show about the 80s Lakers? Excited for a show, but I feel like that's disrespectful to Larry Legend. I saw that. I didn't really look much into it, but I saw that and I was like, Bo Burnham and Larry Bird? Like, what? Steven says, I don't think Rozier thought he was better than Kyrie, just believed his talent. Wow, we're on the same page here, 100%. And you see what he's done in Charlotte. Yeah, he was wasn't he the conference player of the week this week too? Man, I love Rozier. Do you guys remember on stream, it was a late night stream and we just watched Terry Rozier highlights? We're not doing that, I can promise you. We're not doing that. But, damn, I miss Terry. I do. I think that he was good. I don't know if he would have fit with Tatum or Brown because he is a me guy and I'm glad to see him achieving that. I don't know if he would fit with Tatum and Brown still, but I would have loved Terry to still be here, probably over Kemba. You're saying it's crazy because you don't remember him losing games like Smart lost games. He did lose that Eastern Conference Finals games against the Cavs. Like, he was killing it that whole playoff run and then dropped the dud. But lose games now. Terry says, outsider question. Why does Tatum fade away when playing well? I've only watched a few games, but dude doesn't seem to be the alpha who demands the ball when he's playing well. Is this habit? I don't think it's a habit. I think he doesn't. I don't think he's totally there yet. Like, Tatum knows this is the difference. And we've seen spurts of it. We've seen him, do this at times, so I know he has it in him. That sort of, RIP, but Mamba mentality. Tatum knows with the ball in his hands, like, Tatum gets the ball, he can go score. But I think what Tatum's next sort of step is, and I'm not trying to make it a selfish thing for him. I'm trying to make it like, hey, I need to take over. He needs to recognize that type of thing. Tatum needs to know when the ball's not in his hands, go and get that damn ball and go score when you need him to. So right now, when he gets the ball, he's like, hey, screw this. I'm going to step back on this guy's face and I'm going to score. Okay, great. But what about when you don't have the ball? Or what about when you have 34 points and, you have an easy 40 ball in your hands type of thing and you're not going out of your way to go and try and score? And it's not like, I'm not saying this about a guy that's averaging, 10 points a game. Like, that's bad. Tatum's good enough to say, hey, when we need a bucket, I should be our first option. Let me go try. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone would deny that. But maybe it's when he doesn't have the ball, going to get it is that sort of next chip to fall or whatever, domino to fall, whatever the saying is. That maybe he doesn't have. And I thought he did. I thought we saw towards the beginning of the year, Tatum was an alpha presence. And maybe it's just that there's a bigger alpha, Marcus Smart, because there's a lot of times when Smart shoots a shot, and I'm like, wow, Tatum didn't even touch the ball in that possession. Gear saying Tice is looking really good tonight. Let me pull up that box score. What do we got from Tice? Daniel Tice, 7 minutes. Oh, he's looking all right. Yeah, I expected Tice to have like 50 points. I mean, hey, I'll say this. He had 2 more points than Fournier. and this game's not even over. Steven says, I feel like Tatum is damned no matter what because Gorman and the others were calling him selfish, and then he needs to pass. But then when he's hot, we want him to ban the ball. It is tough. But I think, honestly, and this might be the best way to put it, because Steven, you're right. Terry, you're right about what he said, too. I think that's that sort of next step in superstardom, that you can be so selfish without being selfish. Right now, Tatum, if he were to just jack shots, go off, jack shots, my ball, let me shoot it, you could call him selfish because he's still young and probably going to miss some of the shots, not the best selection, right? But think about guys that get to the point in their career. Kobe's probably the best example. He's probably the easy example for me to go to, is a guy that's like, wow, he's being selfish, but he's kind of winning it for him. So I think Tatum getting a little bit more of that in him where, you have the selfish gene, but you're not just 100% jacking shots selfish style like Nick Young. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping we see a little bit of that too, because Tatum, and whether it's more shots or not, I think just having the presence of, hey guys, this is my team, is going to go a long way. And I'm only saying that because it's his team. They just don't act like it yet. Anthony's saying, I think Tatum will get the other guys involved. He doesn't need to be a super assertive because he can get 25 in his sleep. Unfortunately, we need him to average 30 to have a chance. That's the thing. Tatum averaging 25, and I think he is an underrated get other guys involved guy. But a game like this, do you remember, when was this? When the Pelicans were going on their run, essentially. Tatum's in the game. They were just missing layup, missing a three, layup. And I'm like, Tatum's touched the ball like twice. And again, I think we're harping on Tatum. And Steven, like you said, like, we're damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. We're harping on Tatum. I don't know if it's a team thing, a coach thing, maybe a Marcus Smart direct thing, or a Tatum thing that he disappears sometimes. Not as much as he did, even flashback last year or definitely the year before. That's a guy that shows growth because he's disappearing less and less and less and less. But I don't think anyone can deny that he's disappeared a little bit, especially in a game. Like Jason Tatum, for as hot as he was, he had 18, 20 points for the longest time in that game. It's not like when a guy goes off in the first 3 minutes of the game and he has 8 points and you're like, wow, he's gonna be amazing, right? No, this Tatum was going off. And, he finished with 34. He could have easily had 40. Maul saying we need everyone to respect or fear Tatum. Give him the ball and get the hell out of the way. See, yes, you want that fear. You want him to be able to do that, but that isn't the offense either. So that's sort of the fine line I'm talking about. You don't want this offense to turn into give Tatum the ball and get out of the way, right? When Tatum's on, you want that to turn into it. But that's exactly the line we're treading. Kellen says, hard to judge his team when we aren't at full strength. Starting five, Akemba, JB, Fournier, JT, Rob, I love. Bench like Smart, Pritchard, Romeo, Thompson, Mo, or Cornette. Just need to get 100% healthy. Yeah. The thing is, and you guys hated this last time I said it, so hopefully you guys don't hate it again. But I don't know, why we wait for this team to get healthy. That's such a bad non-green team, or I should switch these lights to red lights. But in the last 3-4 years, all we've talked about, me too, in being guilty, is, well, when this team's healthy, right? When the hell are they going to be healthy? When are we just going to be like, okay, this is the team we're dealing with? Even at their healthiest this season, Kemba's not playing back-to-backs. It's like, when does that stop? And it sucks because, like I said, I'm guilty of saying it over and over again. But this team needs to be built, and I'm hoping the offseason changes it. Maybe Fournier and some of these guys that they traded for are actually stepping up and going to look good. This team needs to be built so that there is no sort of, oh, well, they're injured, that's the excuse. This team needs to be built just like a lot of teams in the league where when one guy goes down, another guy steps up. We are so crippled by one injury game in and game out, and that, to me, obviously injuries matter, but that, to me, is sort of the sign of a team that really doesn't have the depth that a championship team this year might. Does that make sense? It's tough because it's true. Like, Kellen, you bring it up. When they're 100% healthy, they're going to be good, which I agree with, but we got to remove ourselves from that statement a little bit because it's like we just haven't really seen it. Every time they seem healthy, it's like, so it's like, fool me once, shame on you, right? Fool me twice, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9,000 times, shame on me. Steven says, when Brad wants to get Kemba involved, he does. I don't see why he doesn't keep running it through Tatum. I say all the time, let him bring it up, but it looks like Brad wants Smart and Kemba to do that. Yeah, it's true. Run some offense towards him. Maul says, Tatum knows his age is too kind to be demanding the ball. Team needs to be to stop using Tatum as a decoy in the fourth. Wangi says, you can say JT needs to be more commanding, but you do take into account that this is a Brad Stevens team. Great. It is a good point. A couple of those Brad Stevens comments. Like, I feel like Brad Stevens, literally, Tatum could be going for 20 points in the last 2 possessions, right? And they'll call a timeout or whatever, and coming out of that, they'll run a 3-point inbounds play for Grant Williams. And that's a coach's decision, because it's like, hey, no. You know the guy Tatum that just dropped 1,000,000 points in 1 possession? Maybe we should run a play for him. And I feel like we don't see that as much as we should. Terry's saying, not saying for him to be selfish, but if you're a number one guy, you got to be the we need a basket, give me the ball mentality. Yep. Steven says exactly. I think Brad connects with players and pushes them to get involved. It happens with Hayward and happened with Kemba, sadly. It holds back Brown and Tatum. Anthony says, it goes without saying this team without a healthy Jalen to pair with Tatum is next level cheeks. It's tough because, like I said, the team doesn't have the depth to never mind lose a player, right? But to lose their second best player, you're tough. Gear says Scal backing up Smart and blaming the officials was annoying. Let me get my Scal rant. I got to get it off my chest. I feel like I tweeted it once, probably said it in the stream. This guy, and I always preface it with, you watch some of the local broadcasts, stream some games, watch the local broadcasts around the league. The color guy on a lot of these teams, even the play-by-play guy, they stink. So Scal, somehow, some way, is like head and shoulders above a lot of the guys that would be replacing him, right? But damn, he sucks to listen to. Because he's a know-it-all. He wants to say this. I know that guy. I've seen him play. No, you haven't. Stop lying. He says, like, this guy's really good at this, really good at that. He's really good at XYZ. But he doesn't know that. So I don't like the know-it-all mentality. I don't like the bullshitter in him. But then to listen to him while the Celtics are losing. Oh, my God. He might be the worst color guy to listen to while losing. Because 1 or 2 things happen. Or I guess multiple things, but these are 2 things I noticed. The first is he's just completely off about what the Celtics need to do. It's like they're down by 3 with 0.2 seconds left, and he's like, oh yeah, you got to get inside and get a quick 2 here. And it's like, what? The second, and might be the more annoying, is that when this team is losing, Scal just starts gassing up the other team's players. Like he knew Sadiq Bey when the Celtics lost to the Pistons and Sadiq Bey went for like near 40 points. Oh, he knew Sadiq Bey had it in him, right? I've watched this kid. Oh, yeah, he's a baller, man. He's a baller. Yeah, I've watched Sadiq Bey. I can't stand it. So there's my Scal rant. I apologize. I'll give myself a womp womp for all the Scal fans out there, but I'll give myself a cheer at the same time for the people that are in my boat, because as much as Scal's better than the competition out there, I feel like muting my TV sometimes. And I know, because there's that awkward silence. Scal will say something and Mike will be like, yep. Mike Corman just wants to get on with the sentence. Ian saying, how many rounds this team's winning in the playoffs as of today? I think they get bounced second round if things don't improve. And that's just me thinking that they're better than half of the teams in the East. Like, I think they can, when it push comes to shove, I think they can be better than those teams. But, if they are playing at some of the worst where we've seen before, I wouldn't be surprised if at a first round exit. But I honestly think a second round exit is like a guarantee if things don't change. Movie says we should go after Austin Rivers. I'd take him. I would. Another guy that you can just add to the mix. It's probably be a low cost, potential reward. I'm not going to say high reward, but a potential reward, right? And low risk. And if he doesn't work out, you're back to square one. Big deal. Steven says, if Kemba back-to-back has to stop, we cannot find ourselves to play in a situation. The sitting has to stop. Yeah, and I don't think it is. Wangi says, I said at the start of the season, if JT and JB are out, we're in trouble. Yeah, I know, Wangi. You're right, too. You're being proven right every single time this happens. Sports says, I really don't think Marcus can help himself. He's not a good shooter, but thinks he is. He doesn't think he's a good shooter. He thinks he's like the best shooter on the team. Some of the shots he takes, you would just assume that, wow, this guy thinks he can shoot. And he gets a lot of good looks, right? He gets a lot of good looks, but some of these looks, it's like, dude, pass the ball. Pat says, you should be our Celtics coach. Hey, put me in GM. I'm ready to coach. Abdul says, imagine Jeff Teague in the playoffs dropping 20 points. You know what's going to happen. I said it on Tommy Points, one of my podcasts I do. I said it when I was, DMing one of you guys today. I think it was actually Greg. I don't think Greg's here tonight. I literally think Jeff Teague is somehow in the playoffs or late in the season going to be like a guy that kills the Celtics. Why? I don't know. Maybe because they traded him when he started getting going. I don't know. But just when we started to see a little progress out of Jeff Teague, they traded him. Moon saying, harsh take. Been watching Celtics 25 years. This is the least fun team to watch I've ever seen. there's been some bad ones. Like before that big three sort of got put together too, bad. But like in terms of this team underwhelming, and I think that's where I'll go with this, Moon, if that makes sense. This team underwhelming where expectations are where they should be. I might be with you there. Anthony's saying there's no way this team is the worst to watch than the 2018-19. But see, to this, it's like you got through that, right? You got through that, like, only brighter grass ahead, Anthony. And then all of a sudden, this is somehow, if this is even comparable to it, then it's sort of like, oh boy, now we're in a sticky situation. Because this team doesn't have, to me, doesn't have that sort of outside noise that did. This, all the issues with this Celtics team right now are in-house. Coach, GM, players, team. So it's a little bit different, I guess. Wongi says, is it slightly worrying though that an arguably not 100 JT is still the best and probably only the one that can produce in crunch time? It is worried. And I don't know if that's, I think over the course of the year, you've been right, Wongi, if we extrapolate this take and put it over the course of the year. But tonight, I think Kemba had some big shots. Like Jason Tatum wasn't alone in needing to score, right? So I think you're right, but at the same time, I do think Kemba gets a little credit tonight. He had a couple big shots. Ubi says second round, maybe even the play-in would get bounced. That's true. I'm like already slating this team in for like a 4 or 5 seed, which probably ain't the best. This is last stream Ev talking right now. Anthony says, I debated on forgetting about the Celtics altogether and moved to Tibet and became a monk. Kellen says, Tatum needs to take a page out of Paul Pierce's book by going and getting the ball in the fourth and tell everyone to bleep out the way. I want Tatum to be an alpha and lead us. Yeah, and I don't know if that's going to happen this year or maybe next year. I think it's going to happen eventually because he's too good for it not to happen, but it's one of the frustrations right now for sure. A few more comments, guys. I think we're going to shut down for tonight. I do appreciate everyone tuning in, even with the title difficulties in the morning. You guys are the fools that tuned into the Celtics vs. Thunder postgame show. What can I say? You are the ones that clicked that. But I do appreciate the chat letting me know that was wrong because that would be 2 Celtics vs. Thunder games in a row, which worked out when we did the Bucks game, right? I could just leave that on. They played them twice in a row, but we got that fixed at least early on. Colin says, no offense, but I sort of like seeing Celtics fans frustrated like this. Makes me feel better about being a Bulls fan. I know, and I know that personally with you, but I know there's got to be, NBA Twitter and fans out there love the sort of turmoil this team's in because Celtics fans are some of the cockiest in the world. Hand up, true. And for us to be gassing this team up, gassing everything that's going on up, and to come out and kind of stink this year, I know there's teams out there, fans out there, love to see it. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. All the tweets that I have about gassing this team up, I stand by. I still love the team, wouldn't take them back, but I know you're probably not alone, Terry. Ian says, Fournier is not a 20-point-per-game scorer. He was on Orlando. He's at least on a playoff roster now, and his points per game and usage will go way down because of it. Nothing wrong with that, but don't expect 20 points. Yeah, but he's a 20-point-per-game scorer. Like, his talent is a 20-point-per-game scorer. We've seen it. So that's where I disagree. But I don't think I would get 15 out of Fournier and be excited. But you can get 20 on any given night. Does that make sense? Like, if Fournier averages 15 here, I think that's good with the ability to go off for 25, 30 points. That's good. But he is a 20-point-per-game scorer in terms of his talent. So I know what you're saying, Ian. I'm just playing a semantical game now. Terry says he can still be a 20-point-per-game guy. He had to share uses with Vooch, Gordon, etc. His ceiling is lower in terms of points, but dude can be on a 18 and 23 night with over 30 minutes per game. Yeah, I do think he can drop it. I think, now I'll say this, to argue that, I think competing with Tatum, Brown, and Kemba is way harder than competing with Vooch and Gordon, right? So I think, dropping down to 15 to 17 with the ability to go off any given night, that's what I'm taking. Anthony says, now we got to deal with Luka next, and he's going to go for like 50, because the Celtics, every time they play someone's got to go off. Kellen says, thoughts on maybe signing Boogie? Here's my take with this. You lost Daniel Tice in the trade, and I know Cornette and Wagner have looked pretty good, but, with them excluded for a second, because you don't really know if they're going to pan out. I hope they do. Cornette's electric. I hope they do. But if it just comes down to you having Robert Williams and Tristan Thompson, when you traded Tice, you did lose and it's unbelievable that I'm even saying Boogie can do this, DeMarcus Cousins can do this. You lost the sort of stretch the floor big that you had in Tice. I know DeMarcus Cousins isn't, can't believe I'm saying this either, as good of a shooter as Tice. But I do think you bring him here on such a low-risk circumstance for a potential reward. I'm not going to say high reward again, but a low-risk potential reward circumstance, I think it could help. And, if he comes in here and doesn't work out, he's not playing well, then sit him and you're back to what you have, right? So I'm in on signing DeMarcus Cousins. I do think it's like 8 years too late since we wanted Boogie to Boston. But maybe it's the ultimate depiction of where there's smoke, there's fire. Like 6 years ago, we're talking about Boogie to Boston. Now he comes here when he's, been through every NBA team in the world and hasn't really done much. But I would still take him. But you can tell I'm not like enthusiastic about it, right? But to me, it comes back to when we were before the trade deadline and people were talking about these tier C sort of trades. I'm like, yeah, why not? Why not pull the trigger? Why not get that guy? I do think if there's a 0.2% chance that DeMarcus Cousins could come here and help, I don't see why you don't throw a little bit of cash at him. That's just where I end up with it. Gear says one thing that looked good earlier was our spacing. Ubi says the only way Tatum becomes an alpha is through coaching change. Brad doesn't have the personality, so I don't think Tatum develops it. Wong, he says it's also annoying when you consider who's in first. Anthony says I hope all bad things in life happen to Philly and only Philly. Hello, I just wanted to say that God loves you and will never give up on you, and if you are sad, he will help you joy. Good night, God bless. How about that? How about that from XM204? What a way to end the stream. Guys, thank you very much for tuning into the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. Somehow, XM swoops in at the end of the stream there, and I appreciate them more than any of you guys, because none of you guys were being that nice to me. But in all seriousness, thank you guys very much for tuning into the stream. We're hitting that subscriber count is growing by the day. It's amazing to see. Like I said, since last stream, I think we gained like 30 subscribers in 2 days. In that last video, the replay of it has almost 1,000 views now on the channel too, which is, it's crazy to see the momentum of the channel and the momentum of us going live. And each and every night, the chat's growing more and more. And the ones that have been here for a while or just getting here, all the same. I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in. And so subscribe to the channel, like the stream. We are here live after every single Celtics game. And we'll catch you in the next one. Let's hope this team, this is a blip on the radar. Let's hope we aren't just going to sink back into what we had to deal with about a month ago, because I don't want to do it. I want to see some wins. I want to see Fournier going for 20 points. I want to see some changes in this team, so hopefully we do see that. But I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Let's go Celts.